Hello, this is a demo of some improvements to the error handling or connection failure handling in the console of a virtual machine. So now we have a running machine with an active VNC graphical console and something that was supported earlier are clean disconnections. So for example, if we now disconnect with this action here, then you get a indication that, okay, you got disconnected and you can connect again. The same thing happens when you launch an external viewer that wants to have a exclusive connection. Sorry, I do that now, you can't see it. But when that connects, then our viewer here is also disconnected because now you're interacting with the machine in your external viewer. And if you click connect, and then we already get to this failure because the other one is still running. And we can close that now. So you see, now's the difference here. I'm a bit surprised that this is now a connection failure, but it makes sense. This now is an unclean disconnection, as no VNC calls it, and you get an unfortunately quite generic error message here that we failed to connect, but you can retry. Now the external one is closed, so we retry and we do connect. There's not super much error messages coming out of no VNC, unfortunately, but we get some about authentication failures. It's a bit tricky to produce such an authentication failure because Cockpit is clever and finds all the passwords that you have configured for VNC and will just use them. But this is also something new now, maybe. You see, there isn't any password set right now for this virtual machine, but there's a global VNC password. And you can see that here in the terminal, in the QEMU configuration, somewhere here, there's the VNC password is set globally to this value. And that means all virtual machines will have this as a VNC password. And Cockpit finds this now and uses it, and that's why we get our console there. But now a bit tricky maybe, so if you change this password and save the file, then Cockpit will pick up the password from the file, but the machine has not been restarted and it's still using the old password. Actually, libvirt D also needs to be restarted. And now we get here an authentication failure, at least. No further explanation. You're still left with digging out the details. And but at least it looks like a failure now. We can retry. Doesn't help. But now when we shut down the machine and we run it again, then yeah, we had forgotten to restart libvirt as well. So these kind of things are a bit tricky. Cockpit doesn't help at all, but that's a different topic. So now we shut down. And now when we start, we get the console back because now everything is in sync again. Cockpit and libvirt and QEMU all agree on what the password should be. Okay, there's one more thing, one more case, which requires the same kind of global configuration change. We can switch on TLS for the VNC connection. Also requires a restart of libvirt, and it requires a restart of the virtual machine. And now, if I've done everything right, now we also don't get the viewer because no VNC doesn't want to support TLS, doesn't want to support the encryption. And we can't show anything, but at least we figure out what's going wrong in this case. And give this message here, maybe. It's a lot of jargon in it, but people that enable TLS, they should recognize what's going on. And there's no retry button because we know it's not going to help. And yeah, this is all disabled now. Launch viewer still works if you have one that works with encryption. Yeah, so I hope that counts as an improvement, although it's only about failures. And thanks a lot.